Yesterday, we talked about celebration and this idea of when something happens and we've done a lot of work towards something to celebrate it. And I want to use this analogy of the Savannah Bananas. If you don't know who the Savannah Bananas are, I will provide a link for you and give you all of the amazingness. You can look them up on TikTok or YouTube. But I had the opportunity to go to the game for the third time, but this was the first time that I was actually able to see it at an NFL stadium. So this is one of the big games, and there was 70,000 people that came to see a baseball team that's considered minor league and has changed the way that baseball looks completely. And if you've followed along with me for any period of time, I'm always asking the question, what would it be like if your business was one that people came to no matter what, and that they were a fan of, a true fan of? And my friend who got the tickets, he actually forwarded me one of the emails that they sent because of the fact that they not just celebrated, yes, this is an amazing feat for us. Yes, we're in several NFL stadiums and we're filling those stadiums. One of their players, who is known as the Songbird, his name is Dalton Malden. He's the second baseman. And he wrote a handwritten note that they scanned in and sent in their email. And it says, as someone who claims this beautiful city as my second home, last night sure did feel like I was right at home. This was the game I've been most excited for all year. And all 70,000 of you showed up and gave us your all, cheering us on and bringing all of the energy. Nashville's a place where I grew, where I dreamed, and where my two passions of baseball and music came together. To step on that field last night in a city that means so much to me and look around at you, the fans, the families, and the dreamers, is something I'll carry with me forever. You all reminded me why what we do matters. It's not about banana ball. It's the community and unforgettable moments we create together with you all. To everyone in that stadium and to everyone from afar, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, the Songbird. And I want you to think about this as they had this amazing feat, but it wasn't just them. And it makes me emotional because of the fact that your business and what you do is not just about you and your team. It's not just about the bottom line or the ROI or how much we did, how productive we were. It comes down to, what are we bringing to people? For Amazon, it's being able to deliver food, groceries, things that people need in a way that's easy for them, that maybe they can't get to the store. Same thing with something like Uber Eats. I was reading a post the other day about how this woman in my community was like, thank you so much for these people because of the fact that I can't leave my house. I have a disability. And when you start to think about what it is that your business does, how do you make people's lives better? How do you celebrate those wins, not just for your people, but also for the people that you serve? How are you bringing them in? How are you creating community? How are you creating something bigger than what you are? Jesse Cole knew that Banana Ball was going to be big. He knew deep down that this was going to work. Even when they were laying on the floor in an apartment with no furniture and wasn't sure what was going to happen next. And if you haven't read Fans First by Jesse, I highly suggest that you do. But one of the things that he said that I'm going to read to you here to the Tennessean was, Walt Disney said it best. He said, it's not thinking outside the box because that's telling you there is a box. There is no such thing as a box. We think about what we can be. We think about what can be a great, unique experience that is unforgettable for fans. And so when you think about that, this tiny little team that in Savannah, Georgia, that nobody believed in, they had multiple teams in there. Nobody cared about Grayson Stadium anymore. And he came in, had a dream, and was like, this is what I'm going to do with my life. Reached out to the community. They named the Savannah Bananas almost as a joke. And it has become something that has changed the world as we know it in sports. So much so that the Nashville game was on Disney Plus. It was on ESPN and things that are completely outlandish. So what is the outlandish dream? How are you celebrating the steps that you're taking to that outlandish dream? And how are you getting so in depth in something that you can make somebody like me cry? That it's so important that I find a way to go every single time that they're in town because it's so important to me. Going to the game in Savannah is on my vision board with all of my kids because 2 of them finally got to see it. And I got to see my daughter come out of her shell. And she told me, sitting at that stadium, I want to be brave enough to be on a field like this and sing in front of 70,000 people because she wants to be a musician. And her seeing somebody else do the thing that she wants to do gave her the courage to try and do the things that she wanted to do, which then gave her the courage to stand up and do funny dances and do stuff that then gave the lady that was in her 40s next to her the courage to do some of that too. And I watched as all the other little kids looked at her with envy of the fact that she was brave enough to do that, and she didn't even realize it. So, what are you doing that's bigger than you? How are you doing a business that's bigger than you? How are you training your team, taking care of your people in a way that's bigger than you? Because you should evoke this kind of emotion. You should be leaning into that. And Jesse does this so well, and he's a good person at the end of the day, too. I've met him multiple times, and he's one of my favorite humans. So how are you doing this at a big level? And I want you to think about that today. I want you to take some time, and if you're a journaler, sit down. As a leader, how am I leading my people to that next level? Because that's when immense change happens. That's when you triple your size from a sound stadium, which is a small stadium here in Nashville, all the way to Nissan Stadium, which is huge. Think about that. You want more people, you want more customers, you want better ROI, you want higher bottom line. How are you connecting with your community? How are you making it an emotional buy versus just something? Because at the end of the day, I hear this all the time. Buying tickets to stuff, buying entertainment, is it's a commodity. Nobody wants to do it. We have to try so much harder. We have to spend so much more. And that's not the case because when it becomes emotional, people will show up no matter what. So what is that for you today?